2, 1. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to UK Speedrunner Gathering 2021 Summer Edition. I am going to hand you over now to Big Pot of Jam, who is going to take us through 3 runs of a game called Hades. So over to you, Big Pot of Jam.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. We're going to be playing Hades today, Supergiant's latest game, released just December of last year. Just a little prep before the run. We're using a max save file, so we have all these upgrades in the mirror, and this is how we're gonna start our first run. We'll be doing 3 runs with 3 different weapons. This is to equalize RNG and to demonstrate skill in all the mechanics and builds on offer. So we're going to be starting with Achilles' Spear, then we're going to be going on to the Eris Rail, and finishing with the Hera Bow. So we're going to start with Poseidon's Keepsake, the conch shell, with 3 difficulty modifiers which are going to stay for all runs. Extreme Measures is going to make the first 2 bosses harder, but the second one faster. Forced Overtime is going to make all of our enemies faster, as well as their spawns. And Tight Deadline is going to turn off a survival room. And I'll start the timer after this cutscene. I'll count you down.
And nowhere else, the same as it is mine. There's not of any worth to see beyond this realm besides.
Alright, so we're going to get ready in 3, 2, 1, start. Okay, so we're going to start with Achilles, and I have prepared a seed for this run, which starts us with Flurry Jab. Usually you would reset for that upgrade, because it's really important for this weapon. How this game works is you play as Zagreus, the son of Hades, who is trying to fight his way out of hell. So we have various enemies that we're coming across, and just trying to dispatch them as quickly as possible to get rewards for each room and progress further and further to the exit. Each of these doors have different upgrades on them, demonstrating what we're going to be getting at the end of each room. Most importantly, we're going to be looking for what are called boons, and these are upgrades from different Olympian gods. And we're just about to get one from Poseidon, god of the sea. And we're looking for that tidal dash. So now you can see that upgrade is making all of my dashes push enemies away and do extra damage to them. So as we start getting through the game, I'm going to introduce my couch. So I have 2 people on commentary. My lovely friends Kid and Caboodles, say hello.
What is up?
And high five from Ryan, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Both lovely runners in the community. So, what can we talk about now? What have I missed, you know?
Might be a good time to point out the chaos. This is
Yep.
a later game thing where you can unlock boons from a non-Olympian god, a chthonic god, from the underworld called Chaos or Primordial Chaos. Chaos boons tend to give you pretty good benefits, but they come at a drawback, a literal drawback, in that they will impose a increased difficulty on you for the remaining few rooms before giving you the benefit. And if you die, which happens a lot, then you don't get that benefit.
You just gotta start again. I'm really hoping not to die. I did die in my practice run, so here's hoping.
But that was for the intrigue, of course.
Of course.
You didn't die.
And also, in case you were wondering, we don't actually take chaos for the boons in this run. We take chaos because it is faster than a regular room. This game has a set number of rooms per biome, and there are 4 biomes.
Yep.
Well, with the exception of the last one, which has a variable number of rooms. But the rooms are always 12 combat rooms for the first one, and then the second one ends at 22, the third one at 34. And Chaos counts as one of those rooms, but it does not have any enemies, which means it is almost always faster to clear than a regular room, which is why we take Chaos.
Mm-hmm. I'm mentioning too, like really quickly, Lapis did say that they are seeding for a specific hammer upgrade. that is all we're doing for like sort of like manipulation in this game. After that, it is literally as playing the game as intended. So there's no like weird, I don't know, set builds or anything that Lapis is forcing other than like using the keepsakes themselves. It's just literally playing the game as it gives him.
Yep.
Would be a good time to explain keepsakes as well, though, unless Lapis, you had anything to say.
No, we're just entering the final boss fight of Tartarus, the first biome of the game. So this boss changes depending on RNG, essentially, but this is one of the Fury Sisters that you can come across, and this is probably the harder one, because she has a lot of attacks which can probably lose you a life, or we'll be calling them DDs, Death Defiances. And we finished that up quite cleanly, and moving on to the next biome of Asphodel. And I'm going to be switching my keepsake to Artemis's so that we can force Artemis into the next biome and get some of her upgrades. I will also mention I've had a little bit of a controller malfunction already, and Meg is not bound to the right button, so I'm not going to be able to use calls for the entire run. That's just what's going to happen, because I don't have time to rebind this controller, and it's let me down today. And we're just going to work with that.
Right, so what Lapis just mentioned there, a summon is, again, a later game upgrade, which is why we run with a max save file. That can, it basically does 2,500 damage to enemies in its path once per encounter, 5 encounters per game. Per run, sorry. So you really kind of have to be sparing with where you use it. Generally, we use it on the 4 bosses and mini bosses, and hope that we get a refill, which you can actually get from the shops or wells.
Yeah. Okay, so we're moving through Asphodel now. The main problem with Asphodel, which we're going to find if the RNG is in our favor or not, is called the Barge of Death. So we have 3 mini-bosses on offer here, halfway through the biome, which we're going to get after the shop. If you see us stepping onto a barge here, then we're going to lose about 30 seconds in this run. Otherwise, we'll be fine. Okay, we're okay. Now we're going to try and accomplish this. Not quite. So I hit 3 of those witches there. Ideally, you want to hit all of them with that tech, but I missed a couple.
So there's the summon.
Yes. So I'm going to be able to use that, but not the calls. So we just won't be able to show any calls today.
That's fine. We don't need those.
We don't need calls. It's one less thing to explain,
aids.
isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
The only aid that we need is from the UKSG crisis services
smooth.
that you can help
Exactly. That was real smooth.
Smooth. Go on.
Also too, like as you probably all have seen, Lapis is collecting a wide variety of different boons from different gods. So we have seen so far Artemis, Ares, and Poseidon. And what's really neat about this game of Hades, what makes it so unique and very wonderful, is that like these gods can kind of like you can adapt like these duo boons as these like different gods like work kind of together. So we see that Lapis forcing an Artemis a boon into Asphodel, and one of the really neat boons that Lapis could be looking for as a duo boon would be Hunting Blades. As you get to see that Hunting Blades would be a duo boon that helps modify the values, properties, and just behavior of those slicing shots to really help out their build immensely.
So you just saw I picked up a duo boon between Poseidon and Artemis, which I was able to get because you can see I have the green Artemis boon and the blue Poseidon one opens me up for the special upgrade called Mirage Shot. So you can see all of my casts, those little rifts. There's now a second one, which does slightly less damage than the other one.
Which would be really fun if you see Hunting Blades and Mirage Shot on top of each other. Like,
Yep,
that would be
which is going to be very possible
Okay.
here.
Anyway, this is the final encounter of the biome, which is the Lernian Hydra. The Lernian Bone Hydra, excuse me, or Lernie, as we call her. This boss fight is separated into kind of 5 phases, the 3 of them being you're fighting just the main head, and 2 of them being you fight, the main head goes invincible, and you fight surrogate heads, smaller heads that come up from the lava. You have to kill all of them before the main head comes out of invincibility.
Alright, so we're moving on to the third biome here, Elysium. Usually I would be taking Hades' call at this point, but I can't call, so we just can't do that.
You take Hades' call for the swag strat.
Yeah, it's just an empty keepsake, which doesn't do anything because my controller.
Also, Lapis, have you been finding any fish at all?
Oh, I've forgotten. I haven't seen any fish.
Okay.
But Ryan,
Haven't noticed any fish either.
you can explain what your deal is with the fish.
Sure, absolutely. Real quickly, there's also a little fun mini game in the game of Hades that could actually help out in speedrunning, technically in some small areas, but for the most time, don't do it, especially in real-time categories. But you can actually fish in this game, which is pretty neat. And for each fish that Lapis does catch, I will be personally donating $5. So if y'all in chat want to also be part of this, it'd be really, really fun. Even if it is $1 per fish, I'll be more than happy to count all the fish at the very end of the run and make my donations then.
Appreciate it, Ryan. What game
is
is
worth
complete
noting.
without fishing?
No game is complete without a fishing minigame. It is worth noting there is a sound effect that you hear when there's a fish in the room and you finish the room. Ryan and I cannot hear that, I believe.
Oh,
Bing.
I'll hear it.
Yeah, it sounds like a little bell. It goes ding. Lapis just got their second hammer upgrade there, and that is the last one that they're going to be seeing for this weapon because you can only get a maximum of 2 hammer upgrades per weapon per run, with the notable exception of if you see something called an anvil in the final shop, which is where it will swap out one of your random hammers for 2 more random hammers. So it's a bit of a gamble, but sometimes it pays off. If you have 2 hammers that you don't want, and there are 2 hammers that you do want.
Okay, so we're going into the mini-boss Asterius, who is the Minotaur of that Theseus fights in the legends. You're going to see a lot of famous Greek heroes as we go through this game. Lovely stories behind them all. It kind of follows on from the Iliad and all the legends and gods and such from mythology.
Definitely making quick work. Even this might not be the most optimal build or whatever. Again, like Lapis just taking the game as it gives them. Still making very, very quick work of all this. Especially, it's definitely a huge thing to be for Flurry Jab. Yeah, Flurry Jab, the hammer upgrade for Achilles has been doing much wonders.
Now, Lapis just got a room that we call them story rooms, but effectively they are NPCs that are not a combat room, and they give you unique perks that you can only get from those NPCs. This one is Patroclus, whose name you may recognize.
Just mentioned the Iliad.
And Achilles is with him, and Patroclus is a free room. We always want free rooms, but especially in Elysium, because Elysium can be really, really long if you get some bad rooms.
We're getting quite good ones here, so like the different enemies we get determine like how long the room is going to take. We really want those chunky enemies. These big chariots are lovely for us to see. Those tiny ones are less fun for us to see. So if you see enemies with armor or with big health bars, we're probably happy.
It is worth noting we have something called the Armored Witch's Neuron. For some reason,
I missed that. I'm sorry.
Hunting
Blades just showed up, but I was too focused on getting a different boon, so I missed it. I forgot my.
Hunter's Mark is really, really good. It gives you, when you deal critical damage, which is Artemis's kind of like deal, it marks another enemy with a target, and when you hit that enemy, you have an increased chance to deal critical damage to that enemy. Critical damage does plus, what, 300% damage?
It's 3 times. It's 3 times damage.
Plus 200 damage. Plus 200% damage.
It's the only damage in the game which is multiplicative. Everything else is additive, more or less. Okay, we're getting there. Goodbye, Theseus. Theseus and the Minotaur are friends now, they fight. We're gonna say hello to the Shade.
Theseus can summon gods as well. You heard us mention calls earlier.
Only
Calls
Theseus can
are-
use calls today.
No calls from Lapis. Calls are unique abilities that you get from gods that allow you to summon their power as like a superpower. So, for example, Zeus's calls down lightning bolts on enemies near you. Poseidon's turns you into a big, invincible, like a wave, and sends you flying around into enemies, knocking them back. Theseus can also summon gods, and he will summon gods that you haven't gotten in this run. He summoned Athena there, which is a little bit annoying, because Athena turns him invincible for short periods of time.
Yeah. So now we're moving on to Styx. So this is the last biome of the game. But in order to get out, we have Cerberus blocking the way out of hell, as he does in the stories. So we don't want to beat up our little boy, so we're going to go and find some food for him to chow on, so we don't have to fight him. In order to do that, we have to kind of search these tunnels in Styx. So there are 5 tunnels, and it could be in any of them, and it's down to RNG. So we're going to hope that it shows up in the second one, which is the earliest it can turn up, and that's about a 50% chance. So we've got about a coin flip of having a fast run. But it could be that we get as unlucky as we did yesterday and have to go through all 5.
Sometimes Hades do be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we call these stack. Well, you're looking for the stack, and we refer to the stack based on how many tunnels you have to go through to get it. So optimal is a 2 stack, and a suboptimal is a 5 stack. You want the 2 stack, you do not want the 5 stack. It will waste you like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Here it is. Hey, here it
Play more
is.
Hades.
Yeah.
So you may notice throughout this run that Lapis is taking doors that have different decals on them, and one of the decals that a door can have is a skull and an up arrow. This means that the door is a mini boss encounter, and in Styx we take them because they are very, very fast compared to the alternative, which is a large room full of gunky enemies, and usually several waves of spawning, which means you have to wait in between each one for the enemies to spawn in. It's generally a big time waster, and you don't want to have to take those rooms.
When we're speedrunning, we just always have like the optimal builds, ideally, so we can take care of those high HP enemies a lot faster than the slow spawning ones. Okay,
And
so
we have reached final boss.
final boss, Stad himself. So we're going to be seeing this fight 3 times. Achilles is probably going to have the most trouble with it because build is kind of not come together. It's good enough, but this is going to take a little while. Achilles generally struggles with the final boss damage.
You chose not to get hunting blades. This is on
I
you.
did choose not to get hunting blades.
Carter's Mark helping you out
Very
now,
much
huh,
on
Lapis?
me. No, it's not doing anything for me.
It's not doing anything for you. You know what would be doing something? Hunting blades.
Mirage shots help
Definitely.
him. It's
Mirage
getting
shot
there.
and hunting
A little
blades.
bit.
You would have 6 casts.
I have 6
Blading it up.
Let it rip. Oh, where am I going?
So
I
this
realized
fight is
that
actually
we-
very difficult too, for even like the most veteran speedrunner because of how much sheer raw damage that Hades deals, especially when Hades lands that giant skull cast in you. It essentially doubles Hades' damage against you, so it's very difficult that like this fight can be.
I'm worried.
You notice
I'm worried.
that
There we
every
go.
so often the screen will freeze. And that is because Lapis is taking what is called a Death Defiance. Basically, when you reach 0 HP, the game will restore you to 50% HP 3 times per run at max upgrade.
So that
Yeah.
is
No
one
fear.
run done. We had no lives left, but we just scraped through. Okay, now we're moving on to the Eris Rail, so we've got a bit of downtime between the next run.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Probably
Not
a
even
great
close.
time for me to jump in and let you know
Beautiful
that we've
time.
had a $50 donation come in from
Whoa,
Cav.
let's go.
Oh.
Amazing. With a comment that says, "Good luck, Lapis. Take down those dads."
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cav, for that $50 donation. Don't forget, 100% of the donations are going directly to Crisis. in helping them in their mission of ending homelessness once and for all.
This one's for you, Cav. Love you.
The dog. The dog. This is
Yeah, we're
Cerberus.
petting Derby.
You may remember Cerberus from the Temple of Styx, where he was looking very menacing. He's actually a good boy, though. We love him.
He's the best boy.
He's the best boy.
So we're gonna
And we
start.
pet the dog.
We're gonna start Erisrael with the Zeus, keepsake, and so we just did a crit build. Now we're gonna do a zap build. So zap.
Zap, in this case, does not actually refer to Zeus going zap. It is an acronym that stands for Zeus, Artemis, and Poseidon, which are the 3 gods that we're going to be looking for.
Did that come through on your end?
We almost have
I heard
rain.
you. Oh. Wait, did you really use? Oh, no. You only rolled once. That's fine.
I said almost.
Oh, almost getting Vareened is you get it on the second roll. Oh, yes. Sorry, rolls. We haven't explained rolls. An ability that you get in this game is to roll your boons. Normally, you are offered a selection of 3 random boons. But with some late game upgrades, you can actually roll those boons. You get up to 4 dice to start with, and each die allows you to roll a boon. Now, rolling is not actually a linear thing. Your first roll costs only 1 die, your second roll costs 2, your third costs 3, and so on. So
Yep.
generally, regardless of how lucky you are, you're never going to roll a
But
boon more than
we-
3 times.
We just got Poseidon really early on,
Naturally.
which is absolutely beautiful. So this is going to be really big for the run. So we've just moved on from Spear, and I seem to be playing as if I'm still playing Spear, because I don't know, my brain's just like that. I've forgotten the call button again because it's changed. So with the spear, we were powering up our shots, our attacks by dashing, by using the little spear throw you would have noticed me doing. With this gun, we're powering up our attacks by landing in that bomb. So in this bomb, I land on it, I get a little effect which boosts all my attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it boosts those attacks by a significant amount. 75% global damage. And that
85.
means
75.
80?
No, it's 75.
Don't do that.
I thought
to
it was
me.
85. No, I'm even gonna
Did you
check.
think it was 85?
It's 75. I thought it was
It's
85.
definitely,
Definitely.
it's definitely 75.
Don't scare me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. But this
I
is
should trust
definitely,
my
like, the
commentators.
most important, or probably the most like versatile weapon that we very encourage newer players into speedrunning because of how like unreliant that the aspect is in trying to find like maybe duo boons or anything else. It really just needs a few Zeus boons, and like you will be able to do a lot of damage. So if everyone at home,
This one's
you want to
going
get into
places.
Hades. If you want to, get into running Hades as fast as possible, then Eris is a fantastic aspect to practice and do that with.
This run is going places, guys.
This run is amazing. This is exactly
this
what you want to
time.
see. Yeah, this time is crazy. Wow. Yeah. So Lapis just got a hammer upgrade called Rocket Bomb. Wow. Hypersprint too. Sorry. Lapis just got Rocket Bomb, which turns your special attack from an overhead bomb that arcs and does 50 damage to an instant firing rocket that does 80 damage.
This is also a world record pace right now. Not even kidding.
What?
For IGT. If you were to pivot to IGT, then this would be world record pace.
This is not world record pace at
And
all.
it's not world-
Not for
Shit,
Eris.
everyone.
This is the content. Shh.
You can't lie to the viewers.
Pick me up with the truth.
It's actually
Ryan.
very insane time. It's a very insane time, to be
This is a
quite
very,
honest.
very good time.
It's definitely going well. We're gonna force
If
Artemis here
you look
again.
at the clock in the top right, that is often the thing that we use to judge runs. If you're doing in-game time, that is the in-game timer. Anything below 2 minutes and 10 seconds is a very, very fast. And Lapis just got, what, a 2:01?
201.
201 exit, yep.
That is
Excellent.
very, very fast. And so this run is going places. Lapis has, what?
The goods.
I have the
Basically
goods.
2 of the 3 most important parts of this build, plus Hypersprint.
Yep.
And now would probably be a good time to explain hyper sprint and hyper delivery, right?
Yep. So
Rush delivery, hyper sprint.
we're gonna
yeah.
see if we get it here. Just the basics of rush delivery is it's probably the best Hermes boon you can find, and it's going to boost all of our damage by a multiplier of our move speed. And hyper sprint increases our move speed by 100% every time we dash. You'll notice I'm dashing a lot. So that's more or less going to be double damage for the rest of the run.
That's
So
double
I'm
damage.
really hoping
on
we
top
see
of
it.
plus 75% damage.
Not seeing it, rolling for it, not finding it. We got an extra dash instead.
Ah,
Oh,
Never
well, you can't
mind.
be
Extra
mad at
dashes.
extra dashes though.
you're
No,
never mad
extra
at
dash is
extra
still
dashes
nice.
because as you may remember, our dash does damage, a lot of damage actually. And so if you have 3 dashes, you're doing, more damage than if you only had 2 dashes.
But
3 dashes or more than 2.
here is
Math
the
checks out.
barge I
There's
mentioned
the
last time.
barge.
So we're going to be stuck in this little barge for about a minute, 30 seconds, so it's going to lose us quite a bit of time, unfortunately.
Now, the way Barge works is slightly unique to all of the other mini bosses. The other mini bosses, they have some enemies that spawn in at the beginning. You kill the enemies, they have a lot of health, and then you're done. Barge instead has multiple enemies that are enemies you've already seen before, with normal amounts of health. But there's 3 waves of them. And if you remember from earlier, waves take time, and so
Yep. We want as
You
few
just
enemies
have
as
to kill-
possible with
yeah,
lots of
you have to
HP.
kill between 3 and like. Oh, sorry, the fountain right after. Amazing.
Asphodel's apologizing. It's given us 2 free rooms
Immediately paid off.
instead of
Compensation. Oh,
combats.
and it's Yuri. Holy.
Wow.
Yep. So
Not a
that
gamble.
fountain
No gamble.
is like a 20% chance of a room spawning a fountain instead of I think it might be a lot less than that actually, instead of a regular combat. So we just don't have to fight any enemies at the end of Asphodel. We usually would have had 2 extra rooms at the end of that biome, but we just skip straight over them and we
I
right
love
back to
that.
the end.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you,
the people
Barge.
that aren't familiar with with speedrunning, the idea is that to get insanely good times on leaderboards, is that trying to skip those very end later of the biomes are very, very important. By getting a little bit lucky and finding those either story rooms or maybe the chaos rooms or even those fountain rooms, which we have no control over. The game just gives us them whenever they feel like. So when the biome gets progressively more difficult as the biomes progress, the more rooms that we skip later on is very, very important. And Lapis is moving on.
I am
This is a winnable run.
moving.
Almost insta killing that last phase.
That
of
was
learning.
that was a big
That was
crit.
incredible.
That was a
I
big
saw your
crit.
face. That was a good face. Yeah. So, like we said, Lapis has Artemis on their special, which means that their special has a chance to crit. The base damage on a rocket bomb is very high. Let's get cluster. Okay. So we have a chance here to
Yes.
see. Just get cluster. We have a
Just
chance
get
here
it.
to see one of the most powerful hammer combinations in the game. Now, sometimes hammers will not affect each other. Sometimes hammers will have unique effects when they interact with each other. Cluster bomb plus rocket bomb. No cluster rockets.
Nicholas today.
Cluster bomb does turns your special into 5 bombs. Rocket bomb turns your special into 1 bomb that does really big damage. So cluster rockets.
That cluster that just killed Lerny in 1 hit, we would have had 5 of them.
Yeah, exactly. It literally turns your special into 5 bombs that deal 80 damage each.
Didn't get it this time.
Which is massive.
well.
You always want to see that. Oh, but right into the patty. So we're seeing Patroclus again. This is 2 runs in a row, which is something that you really, really want to see.
It's nice.
This run actually, Lapis got to see every single story room. Got to
That is
see
true. I didn't
Baldy and
realize.
Sisyphus, Eurydice, and Patroclus with Achilles, or not Achilles.
Did I see Baldy? I forgot to give him Nectar. Oh well.
Ooh, you
I'll
did.
do it next time.
You did,
I did
You
it?
did see Bolton, and you did forget to give him Nectar, and I was gonna say
Yeah, you
something.
forgot. Yeah.
We got sidetracked. We always give Boldy. Okay, so this is something that doesn't really need to be explained, but since there's nothing terribly exciting going on right now, Boldy is the boulder that Sisyphus. If you're familiar with the Sisyphean myth, Sisyphus is condemned to roll a boulder up a hill for eternity. Boldy is that boulder, and
You just
can
give him little treats.
Yeah, you can give him little treats, and he'll give you like small bonuses, like really really small bonuses.
So usually
but
we
it's
just
funny,
ignore him, but
and it's a currency
funny.
that we don't need a ton of, especially if you already have a max save file, and so it doesn't waste a ton of time, and it's funny, so we usually do it.
Yeah.
Lapis is in try hard RTA mode, and so they are not
Trying
going
so
for the
hard right now. Because we are schmoovin'.
Yeah, this is an incredible run.
Ah, lovely enemies.
A donation has just
Oh.
come in. Actually, we have
Beautiful.
a $25 donation from Jat, telling us I hate the party boat.
I hate the party boat.
Oh,
Thank you,
yeah.
Jat, for your
Thank you very much,
generosity, and
Chad.
that actually takes us over $1,000 raised for Crisis.
Let's go.
Which is
Amazing.
incredible.
Thank you so much. That
Thank
is
you so much, everyone.
beautiful.
Lapis is getting some really really nice enemies here. The previous room was armored
Flame wheels?
flame wheels. I forget their name when I was going to call them beyond chariot.
Baby chariots.
Baby chariots.
Yeah,
They do meow. They purr.
they do meow. I would call them beyond chariots. Which you want to see those because they go down really fast and they have a relatively high difficulty rating. And they also saw armored witches, which if you remember earlier, I mentioned the armored witches neuron. We really, really want to see armored witches because you can get like 4 of them in one room, and that's the whole room.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay,
Entering
goodbye.
Imperials under 6 minutes in the IGT. That is incredible stuff.
Theseus is just happy in that little shield though, like
So
that is
these
fully
can do
RNG.
Sometimes it is a glitch that the developers know about but haven't done anything to fix. But basically, he will go invulnerable as he phases. All bosses do this, but Theseus, for some reason, I think it has something to do with if he's inflicted by a status curse, but it could be anything. He will often stay in his little invulnerability bubble
He's
for
happy.
like
He's
10
comfortable.
seconds.
He's in
And
his
it loses you a
zone.
lot of time. Because actually some of your damage comes from splash damage. If you hit Asterius, Theseus will take some damage because of how lightning bolts work in this game. They bounce from enemy to enemy. So if you're hitting Asterius and you're not hitting Theseus, that means that you have to fight Theseus for even longer once he comes out of that bubble by the time Asterius is already dead.
Yeah, Theseus feeling pretty blob snug in that bubble.
Very blob snug. Very blob snug.
Incredibly love.
Alright.
Also, worth noting,
Sorry?
Lapis, or do you have something you want to say?
I was gonna say we're back in sticks. We can see this.
Yeah, so Lapis picked up a duo boon called Lightning Phalanx. Now, Lightning Phalanx is a duo boon between Athena and Zeus, and it makes your cast from Athena bounce like a Zeus lightning bolt, which is really good because it means you can hit multiple enemies with the same cast, and you can hit the same enemy with the same cast if fate is kind to you. And these casts do really, really big damage. It's the 3rd highest damage in the game, second only to the Aphrodite cast and the Dionysus cast.
We are just absolutely annihilating any enemies on the screen right now,
so
and it is
This
beautiful.
is very, very fast, and Lapis is getting some good rooms, some mediocre rooms, but mostly good rooms.
We're doing well. We're doing
It's
well.
not been Rat's o'clock.
But we
That's
are
a lot.
hoping we need to get the status sack. This is the 2nd tunnel, so this is the fastest we could possibly get it, but it's all RNG. Here's the coin flip. Oh, on the next tunnel rather. Sometimes just gives you an extra one for some reason. Okay, on this door we're gonna find out if we're doing well. Nope.
2 sec,
Okay.
2 sec.
The suspense is killing me. Alright, it's another mini boss.
That's okay. We just have to take a 3rd tunnel.
Generally speaking, mini bosses in sticks will have a lot of armored health and not a lot of regular health. So armor is that yellow covering that you can see on them. It makes them it basically functions as a 2nd health bar, and they cannot be stunned while they have that armor.
I'm absolutely
just-
floored right now because Lapis takes Lightning Rod over Hunter's Mark, yet didn't take Hunting Blades in the last run. I'm absolutely floored right now.
Alright, let's see
Like,
how
why-
long we're gonna be punished and we're gonna be
Yeah.
having a holiday in sticks. Oh, we've
Oh,
got a
how
4th
long have-
chamber.
Oh boy.
Okay.
How long
Okay, we
are
just
we?
get to
Okay,
play.
and
We
these
just get to play
these are the long
Hades for
chambers
longer.
that I was talking about a bit earlier.
Go for it.
So these chambers are a bunch of enemies, and they spawn in waves. Waves are slow. Regular enemies are slow. We want mini bosses, and so if you have to take these chambers, you lose a ton of time.
As you can see, that took quite a lot longer than the mini boss rooms we were taking before.
Yeah. Mini boss rooms with an average build, you can usually take care of in under 10 seconds, depending on the mini boss, even down to 5. These regular rooms are like easily 30 seconds. Now, Lapis did pick up a boon there called Breaking Wave, which is something that you do want to see on Eris Rail, because basically what it does is when you knock enemies back with your dash, if they hit a wall, they rebound off it and they take damage. And because Styx is so small and they rebound so much, you can actually get them to just pinball off the walls and take like 500 damage sometimes. You can kill entire mini bosses with only Breaking Wave. It's crazy.
You know what I'm feeling? I think I'm gonna take the gamble.
Oh yeah?
Well,
Never
triple
gonna
bomb?
gamble?
We're gonna get it.
We got triple and ricochet. So I just sacrificed
Ricochet.
one of my hammers, which is a really risky move, because that's totally at random. Just felt like it, you know? Just
You didn't
mix it up a
lose
little
the,
bit.
You
Didn't lose
That's
Rocket.
the angle that I was mentioning. You didn't lose Rocket, so that's fine.
I haven't seen any fish. Have I missed some fish?
I don't know. I can't hear game audio. I don't know anything.
Surely I have seen one and just
Surely there's been
glossed
some
over
fish.
it. There's none in this room. So now we have triple bombs, so we can use 3 bombs consecutively, which is honestly a little bit tricky because it makes my special a bit more awkward to reload. But it's fine, we'll cope. That's still triple damage, so... Ooh.
You may
3
recognize
rocket bombs
these
are more than
goes.
1.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Let's put up some
Ultra
lightning
Rocket
rods.
would be 5, but it's fine. You may recognize these blue crystals from the Barge of Death. They don't do any damage to you, but they make nearby enemies invincible, so you have to kill them first. It's really bad on Dad, because Dad can stall a lot when he's invincible and you can't hit him.
Whoops. Right at the end. Alright, on to the final round.
Alright,
Perfect.
so there goes Dad again.
I guess Dad. Sorry, Dad. Angsty.
Ryan, if they're a fish but we don't catch them, do we have to pay you money?
Yeah, I believe that's correct. So like, I'll have to contact the wonderful Crisis charity, and seeing if they can forward me some money, maybe for just. No, I'm just kidding. I'm still gonna be donating. I think I saw 3 fish in total, and I'm still gonna count that as if
Well, it's good.
maybe
It's
pretend
good
it.
news because the audience is also still donating. We've had a $10 donation come in from Kalobi, who says, "Great run, Lapis. Blob snug."
Thank you.
Bob Snug, thank you so
Snug
much,
indeed.
Kalobi. Let's go.
And thank you everybody else who's donating. So far, we've raised $1,000 collectively. Thanks to all of you wonderful people. Keep those donations coming in, because this is an awesome charity, and you are all wonderful people making a huge difference.
Amen to that.
Just gonna make a slight change to the mirror there so that we have legacy instead of pride, so we're more likely to see duos. And moving on to the bow. So
No, the bow is a very different aspect than we've seen before. There's a lot of similarities between Achilles and Eris Rail, how they have like very kind of similar movement patterns with like using the special and their attacks. But Hera bow is a very different aspect. Kit, want to talk more about that?
So, the general gimmick with Haribo is when you press the cast button, instead of firing out the cast like you may have seen Lapis doing, it actually loads the cast into your attack. So next time you attack, all of the casts come out of your attack. This leads to some tricky things involving cast management, and it can be difficult to manage when most of your attack comes from most of your damage, comes from your cast, and your cast can lodge in enemies. However, when played correctly, which Lapis is quite good at doing,
thank you.
this weapon is very powerful. We're not seeing a lot of great enemies to show it here, but this...
Oh, there it is.
And there we go, yeah. So we see Armored Witches here. we like to see armored witches, and these guys are going down. They do not stand a chance because Lapis has also picked up Aphrodite's cast, and Aphrodite's cast is very, very high damaging. It's the second highest damaging cast in the game. It can hit multiple targets, and it is short range, which means that if you accidentally fire your cast off into the depths of the river, which can happen with other casts, they will actually stop on the bank of the river unless you actually fire directly inwards.
I mean, like right there, you just saw like the armored louts that have the highest HP and armor pool in all of Tartarus, and Lapis made quick work of them too. So definitely like to see those kind of runes too.
I just forgot I
Absolutely
can't
no
call.
chance.
I thought, oh, I can get a smoldering air build here,
Smoldering,
and I
awesome.
fully can't because I just can't cast.
Well, you can
Can't
get
call.
smoldering, you just
I
can't use
can.
it.
It's true.
Yeah, you can still get it. Yeah.
I think that's
Green Bloom
worse.
good.
Listen, Lapis. You know what we always say, green bloom good.
Green Boom good.
Doesn't matter if you can't use it. Parting shot and Eris, we take that.
Yeah, let's go.
So we're throwing around a lot of jargon here. But there is a lot of different technical builds and ways to play this game, and if you are at all interested in joining us, do check out the speedrun.com board, and you'll see a Discord where we are all very welcoming and very happy to help if you would like to join.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of memes, we're mostly memes.
There's a lot of memes.
It's like 90% memes.
And
Only
dogs.
1% speedruns. And dogs. Real dogs.
Real dogs, not fake dogs.
Oh.
Not fake dogs.
Okay, so 2 things to explain, I think. Number 1, Lapis just picked up a hammer there called Twin Shot. Twin Shot, you may notice that Lapis' attack is basically firing an arrow. Twin Shot makes you fire 2 arrows that do the exact same amount of damage. So, you know, instead of 10 damage, you're doing 20 damage. Instead of 50 damage, you're doing 100 damage. But it lowers the range on your attack. Now, that generally is not too bad because with most of the aspects in this game, you are playing quite close range. So, but here you get to see Haribo's number 1 enemy bosses. Now, Haribo struggles with bosses. A little
Oh,
bit
I
because-
disagree. But you can explain
no,
why.
you don't-
I know what you mean, but yeah.
So, Haribo gets all its damage from casts. Casts lodge into enemies, and until you kill the enemy or until 15 seconds passes, the cast does not come out of the enemy. Now, Haribo lowers that timer from 15 seconds all the way down to 5 seconds. However, 5 seconds is a lot in this game when you're trying to speedrun. Because some bosses can be, you know, like 10 seconds. And if you have to wait another 5 seconds, that's 15 seconds. You are losing time, basically. However, if you have enough damage to insta-face bosses, which Haribo is actually very capable of doing, it's not a big deal. And as you can see, Lapis there was pretty handily dispatching of the Furies with only a couple of extra shots per phase.
Perhaps
Ryan, you
maybe
wanna
we'll see Rush
actually-
Delivery this time.
Oh, actually, are we going to see Rush Delivery? So,
Hope so.
Ryan, do you want to explain Palms, actually? Because we haven't talked about Palms.
Never mind. We've got this to
Sure.
explain now, because he's finally
Oh.
arrived.
Everyone's favorite
It's
favorite
boyfriend time.
right?
Everyone's favorite boyfriend.
Yeah. So I guess I can jump real quick into Thanatos. So either Thanatos is loved or hated, because again, in Hades there are many different categories to run. You can run in-game timer, which again is, as you can see in the very top right-hand corner, you can see that the in-game timer has stopped, and that is wonderful to see if you are running any percent in-game timer kind of categories. However, we are running real-time category right now, so we don't really want to see Thanatos in a real-time strategy kind of category. But what happens here is that Thanatos challenges Zagreus to a little competition. Who can kill more enemies, Zagreus or Thanatos? If Zagreus wins, then you not only do you get the reward that the room was showing, but also Thanatos gives you a little love too, by giving you an extra little centaur heart for the victory, and we get this lovely barge too.
Yeah. So this is
in
gonna
that, just
be
one
a
book.
a
Who's
slow
ready for the
biome.
cruise?
You
Who's
may
ready for a
have
cruise?
you may have noticed during that last thing, Meg showed up. She was not supposed to. This is part of the reason I was saying I should not take Zeus call. It's because my call button is actually my Meg button because of the controller malfunction. So I was trying to use the Zeus aid, and instead I forgot that my controller is broken and just used the Meg summon instead.
No, I noticed.
You didn't notice? Oh no.
No, I didn't see which one was it. It was the Thanatos room?
Yeah.
I didn't
Oh,
want to say
boy.
anything, but yeah, it happened there. But still, even despite, so that is actually a huge thing that Lapis is not able to use a very integral part of damage, which is using the call. We haven't been able to see how Zagreus can actually summon the aid of all the Olympian gods, and that can definitely help enhance quite a bit of damage in like whether it be burst or over time. So we unfortunately not getting to see that today, but it's still like even without being able to use those calls, Lapis is doing very incredible on time.
Calls are very often like kind of bonus damage on top of your build. They're very rarely the central build.
Oh, like Arthur.
Yeah, unless you're playing like a really bad aspect, which struggles with damage.
Or chaos.
So Zeus
Chaos
call, Zeus call is amazing. Zeus call summons down lightning bolts. It does the most damage out of any call in the game. And it is, I mean, it's just good.
It's pretty good. Thunderbolts and
on-
lightning, very, very frightening.
Very, very frightening me.
Very frightening.
Palms. Let's talk about palms.
Oh yeah.
So, Ryan, you want to take this?
Yeah, sure. Palms are pretty easy. They're very juicy fruit and just tasty.
Yeah.
That's it, right? I mean, that's yeah. All right.
No, okay. So
Palms are basically like lovely things where like so obviously we've seen Lapis collecting boons, and boons are awesome because they get to augment your core skills in the game. Palms are also amazing because they take those very same boons that you take in the game, and they just enhance the properties of them. Mostly it's going to be damage, but sometimes it's also percentages as well. So definitely in some builds, like a cast build, you really want to focus getting a lot of higher levels into the cast as it's your main source of damage. As we've seen in Lapis, just look at that instant phasing of Lerny. That's just huge because of all the palms that we were able to take and really focusing those palms into the cast to help level that up damage.
First damage.
Yeah. So what we're looking for from here, I don't know what we're looking for because we can't get Mirage Shot, which was the boom we had on the first run, which would really help here. I think a good hammer would help us. So if we can find Flurry Shot or Point Blank or Perfect, I will be happy with this hammer. But I didn't get any real core boons from Artemis. But if we're lucky and we see lots of Artemis, we might be able to get fully loaded, which is going to give me 2 extra cast stones. So you can see I have 3 fully loaded. So you can see I have 3 casts usually. I've picked up an extra one from a well and extended it with a keepsake item. But we're hoping to get 2 more from Artemis if she agrees.
And we saw like we talked about chaos beforehand too, about how like it's nice to have because hey, we get to skip a room. For these kind of cast aspects, it's also really, really nice as well because there are 2 things that chaos can give a cast build, and it's either cast damage or even an extra cast stone. So seeing those as well is also very, very nice for Lapis.
That was an instant butterfly ball.
Instantly.
So,
see, look at
we
that
see
damage.
Butterfly Ball finally. Butterfly Ball is one of the 2 mini bosses in Styx. So far, we've only seen Asterius. Butterfly Ball also exists, and it is very good. It's a lot faster than Asterius. Whoo! And we're getting Butterfly Ball into Patty into Fountain. That is
Free
insane.
room bonanza. Unfortunately, that means that we are out of free rooms entirely, so we are definitely going to have to play the remainder of this biome. So that looked quite good, and it's better than not getting those free rooms at all. But ideally, you're getting them later. Oh, fish, thank you.
Oh yeah, fish.
That is 4 fish.
Okay. How have I
So
missed
Lapis
so
Lapis
many?
doing their part to squeeze my wallet for.
Shush, I need to focus.
Ooh.
Okay, so
Shush.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. We got it. Okay, it's over, folks. We got there.
All right. So the fishing is a timing game where basically the bobber will bob between 0 and 3 times before finally dipping below the surface. Once it dips below the surface, if you press the catch button, you will catch the fish. However, there is a bit more timing involved where if you catch it as soon as possible within like I think 0.35. No, that can't be right.
I actually don't
like-
know this mechanic.
Yeah. It's the perfect catch mechanic. You don't know the perfect catch?
No, I no.
What? It's like you
Sorry.
don't even play this game.
I think it's like a quarter second of as soon
Something
as
like
the
that.
the
If you
bobber
press it-
goes down.
Yeah.
To
If
get
you
the
press it
perfect catch.
really, really quickly, you get what's called the perfect catch, and the perfect catch is guaranteed to give you a legendary. No, it's guaranteed to give you a rare fish. It is has a higher likelihood of giving you a legendary fish.
Did I get the rare fish? I don't know the difference.
No, you didn't get a perfect
No.
catch.
Oh.
Nope. It's okay.
Damn.
Not even a pro speedrunner. I can tell you only run RTA.
You just say that also that I just picked up the best boon you can possibly get for your calls, and I still can't use them. Because of
But
this
you just
goddamn
move them everywhere
controller.
you find it every time you want to use it.
Just I could actually just switch to them. What is the button for calling on the keyboard? I'm actually gonna do this. What is the button?
Oh, wait,
Is it
it's,
one?
no,
It's
it's
one.
F. It's F.
F?
Call is,
Oh, it's
call
one
is F.
is
Summon is
one is Meg. Okay, so it's
Kit
F.
would know. Kit would know.
I'm gonna try
I'm-
this
I'm-
during the tunnels.
I'm a keyboard warrior who has never remapped my piece.
This is gonna be messy. This is
I
gonna
know
be
this.
so messy. I'm gonna do it. Artemis has
Great.
not been kind to us. She has just fully just not shown up again since we first saw her. So that's fine. We'll cope.
Not only
We-
coping, but I mean, like, you're definitely making the most out of this. And again, kind of like, this isn't like a like pre-filmed thing where it's like, oh, like I got super good marathon luck. Like, look at me go. It's no. The only thing that we did do was the Achilles flurry jab seeding and everything. Like, this is the game as it gives you, and it definitely shows like the versatility and adaptability of all of us wonderful speedrunners, especially Lapis, and like actually getting a really nice time so far. So big props to them.
I have no idea what my time is like. Also, I have to say that switching to the keyboard is so silly.
Yeah, I can see the pain in your eyes as you do this. You look like that one Wolf of Wall Street meme. He's like laughing and holding the glass. You know the one, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna like. I have my hands on the keyboard with my little finger on the F button. Oh, this is so cursed.
This is still cursed. Someone in the
It's
chat.
alright.
No. When the buoy goes underwater, if you react under 0.36 seconds, it's perfect. Between 0.36 and 0.72 is good, and after that, it's a fail. So I was close. I said 0.35.
It's working.
And I believe it was like a quarter second or less for the that I thought it was. Me playing bingo and all.
Yeah, we
might-
haven't seen a single. We haven't seen a single vermin. So everyone in chat's
That's
at Rasa
true.
Clock.
Press the
Clock.
clock.
Yeah, it is Ratchet Clock right now.
Shout out to Tonus, who is. You thought I was doing a lot of weapons with 3. Tonus is fully going to be playing 24 weapons, starting like now-ish. I
It
think
is
he
now.
must have started.
Actually, it was like 7 minutes ago. Yeah, it's crazy.
So we are doing, the Hades community are doing a big old marathon all day today, and hopefully we'll be able to catch it once we finish for the day here. And we'll be raising money for Trans Lifeline, and would love to see some of y'all there to help us. I was really hoping we were just going to get Merciful Ember, and it was going to be such a meme.
Unfortunately, we are not Dunk Zero.
We are not. It was on the wrong thing, though. I had deflect on the attack.
That's true.
Doom on
Merciful
special.
End is a meme because it is unfortunately on a lot of weapons just optimal, but it is also pain to reset for.
and
It's a duo
really
boom between
weird
Ares
on the
and
bow.
Athena. It is super weird on bow. I feel like you couldn't properly use it unless you have flurry shot,
Maybe.
and you
Yeah.
just play a like really
Just,
bad budget.
oh, I'm in the
Ares.
wrong position. I need to be on the keyboard. So good. There's another fish.
All right. Okay, so surface fish
Yeah,
actually give
don't
you
skip that
really
one.
good rewards.
Oh, well, oh.
Oh, very.
I'm fully using these calls.
Yeah, it's surprisingly not terrible call usage for your absolutely cursed setup. So
gonna
you'll notice
spam
that
up.
Dad is doing these moves where he vanishes for a short time. We call those darknesses because he says darkness before he does them, and he was about to do a fourth one there, but Lapis managed to phase him just in time. Those are a big time loss. Between 3 and 5 seconds, depending on depending on how fast your enemies are. And in a fight that is, at best like 30 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds is a big deal.
And we're done. That's time.
And that's time.
Wonderful.
That is very fast, actually.
What was the
so-
time?
That was faster than your practice run.
Nice. Nice.
53:56.
Not quite edging out 185's run earlier, but I
Not
wasn't
quite.
expecting to, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, does anybody really expect to edge out 185? 185, by the way, is one of the the world's best Achilles spear player. Currently, one of 4 people with a sub 6 in-game time.
Absolutely wild.
Oh. Oh. Perfect catch. I did it.
Perfect catch. Let's go. Let's get it.
All right.
All right. So that
Woo!
wraps us up
So-
for Hades.
That was a great way to end the run.
And that is what, Ryan? 5 fish? 6 fish?
Yeah, so for those counting at home, that was 5 fish total. I know Lapis caught 2, but it's okay. This is for charity. I don't count. It's fine. So that is 5 fish. I'm donating $25 out of my pocket, and y'all should donate maybe like $1 per fish. Can we get like a $5, donation train going on? We're so blessed to have raised well over $1,000. Let's push for 2, huh?
Thank you very much, everybody, for having me, and thank you very much, UKSG, for raising money for this wonderful cause.
And thank you for the fantastic run, Lapis, and thank you for the wonderful commentary, Kit and Caboodle, and high five from Ryan. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Wonderful
We
to be here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
the pleasure is ours, I assure you. We are going to go to a short break very shortly. After the break, we will have Green Ferret and Chainsy running Muppet Race Mania. That is the end of my shift as well, so enjoy the rest of the marathon. Stay tuned, and we'll be back after these messages.